Good morning, friends. How are you this morning? Diana Lidstone here, and we are going live to talk about riches in the niches. And this is the first time I have been live for some time. So I want to invite you to join me for a cup of coffee and bring your mug. So, if you don't know who I am Diana Lidstone. I am a business and marketing strategist. So, if you are here today live, please just give me a high five, say hello, let me know who is watching because you know what? It's so much nicer to know who is out there. So, say hello in the comments. And that's great. So, Diana Lidstone, what do I do? I am as I said, a business and marketing strategist, which means that my focus, hey, good morning, Liz. Thanks so much for letting me know. Um, what I do is I teach people. That is the basis of my brand. I'm all about teaching people how to make more money, how to create a business that they can love so that they can really live the life they want. So, a client of mine the other day gave me this great idea. And so, thank you to Catherine Burrows if you are here or if you're watching on the replay. So, as you know, hashtag live in the comments or hashtag replay. And so Catherine said to me, she's coming for a VIP day. And she said to me, Diana, what I want to do is it's kind of like baby proofing my business. But she coined a phrase that I think I might have to borrow. It's absent proofing her business. In other words, what happens to your business if you want to step away to travel? If you get ill, I've just been ill and had to step back from my business. So I'm certainly looking at my business from a different way. So good morning, everyone. Hashtag live if you were here. Let me know who's watching. And for those of you who are watching, I'm going to put in the comments here a link if you would like to join me on this live. So bring you into the live stream for some hot seat coaching. So, all right, today is all about the riches in the niches. And how many of you watched or read or whatever my blog? So raise your hand. Let me know. Did you read my blog last week, which was all about the most common objection that I get to this secret? Well, the secret is we all need to focus on one niche. And so I talk about simplifying your business. Simplifying your business. Simplifying your business so that you can grow. And the fact of the matter is that too many people go out there and, we're all creatives. Let's just, and we go, well, I need to serve everybody, or I could do that. I've said that so many times to myself, right? I could do that. Or this offer isn't really selling that well, so I'm going to create another offer, right? Or I'm just going to, here's a good one. How many of you are on multiple social media platforms, right? That is not simplifying your business. So I want to share with you. I'm just going to go back here on my flip chart. And I marked it. If you didn't read the blog, go back and read the blog. But here's the 5 steps that I say for simplifying your business before you expand it, before you grow it. So the first is a micro niche. You need to niche down. And this is what we're going to talk about today. You need to niche down. Number 1, you need to know what is the one problem you are solving. Number 3, have a core offer. So this is the offer. This is the one offer where you make most of your profit from. Doesn't mean that you don't have an upsell, a downsell, but you've got this real strong core offer. Number 4 is you need to know what is your strength and what is your best lead generation platform or your best lead generation. So I know that if I go out there and speak or train like this, that is the best way that I build leads. What is your best way for building leads? Okay. And then number 5, I say one platform. So as you can see, it's a series of 5 things. I call them the Focus 5. And Liz, thanks for sharing. Liz says she's on 2 platforms. Yeah, me too. But I'm not on 3. I'm not on 4. I'm not on 5. I spend the majority of my time on LinkedIn. Sorry, let's go back. I spend the majority of my time on Facebook, but I'm also upping my LinkedIn. Okay. I'm not on Instagram. I'm not on TikTok. I'm not, whatever. Now, I will let you know that yes, videos like this, lives like this, I do repurpose them and I do put them on my YouTube channel. Okay. But it is not where I am spending most of my time. All right. So let's talk about micro niching and niching down. Who has, in the comments, who has a very specific question about niching down? Who has a very specific question? I'd love for you to type it into the comments. In the blog that I posted on my website on Tuesday, we talked about 5 steps to niching down. And I think one of the big steps that people forget to spend time on is about the research. Researching whether the niche that you're working into, whether that niche is really profitable. Number 1, is it profitable? Number 2, is that niche, do you have easy access to that niche? How could you build that access? Is it easy? Is it joyful? Or is it difficult and boring and, just like you pull your hair out? That's not what we want for your business. Sorry, I'm just going to reach up here. The sun has come out and I'm just going to close that a little bit. All right. So nobody has any questions. Nobody has any questions. That's funny. So I'm going to post this link again if you would like to come on and join me live here. But let's talk a little bit more about niching down. And I'm going to draw it on a new piece of paper so that you can actually see. I'm going to draw it up. So how many of you have played darts or have gone out and done some archery? Good question, Liz. Let me get back to that, okay? How many of you have gone out and played darts or done some archery? Anybody? So if you have, darts for sure. Perfect, Liz. So Liz, you know then that the highest point that you're going to get in darts is when you hit the bullseye right in the center, right? That's the highest point. Now you will get points for out here, and out here. I love the double out queen. Okay, I have no idea about darts. So anyway, that's all right. Good. So it's the purpose of your marketing is to hit that bullseye. That is the purpose of your marketing, is to who is that little subset of entrepreneurs that you want to kind of subconsciously raise their hand and say, that is me. Okay. The purpose of your marketing is to hit that. It doesn't mean that you won't work with other people. So for instance, let's say most of my marketing is targeted towards women. Okay. So I get women entrepreneurs. And let's just take that for instance. Does it mean that I won't work with a man? No, but my marketing is here. Now, as it happens, I have a private client who kind of sits out here. He is not my ultimate dream client. He is not the industry that I would prefer to work in, but he was referred to me from someone in this center block, so to speak. Okay? So, excuse me. So let me go back to Liz here. Where do you research? Where do you research? That is a very good question, Liz. Can you give me an example of who your niche might be so that we could narrow it down and narrow it down and narrow it down? Who is your sort of broad group of people? Or Liz, would you like to come on live? You can come on live. I won't eat you. Okay. Anybody else have a specific question? Women in their early years of business. Okay. When you say early years, do you mean startups? Do you mean startups? Now, Liz, you've been in business for quite some time. You've known me, and you know that kind of, I kind of say it as it is, right? So, okay, 1 to 3 years, perfect. Are those the women who have the funds to pay you good money? Number one. So you need to ask them, you need to know what their threshold is. My guess is they're going to not be someone who's going to pay you for private coaching. So that's their age group. Okay. Unless they have, are they leaving corporate? Second career. Now you see that makes a difference, right? So they've had a career already. They've probably got this dream to go out on their own, right? They know what it is to work hard. They've got this dream, but you want to help them turn this dream of this independence, I'm guessing, into their business. So researching is about putting out there, number one, out there online, asking questions to those groups, finding groups where there might be, I don't know, women in Ottawa, for instance, who are considering leaving their corporate or their government jobs. There's tons of them out there. But if you're marketing to them, you've got to start asking them questions, whether it's groups on Facebook, whether it's groups on LinkedIn. You've got to start talking their language. So go out there. Networking groups are another great place that you can ask questions, right? But the research is that you've got to be talking to a lot of people. My suggestion is that you come up with a list of specific questions and you go out there and you really start talking to those people and getting the answers and recording the words that they are specifically using. Okay. So let me just, I'm going to paste in here one more time in the chat if you would like to come on board live with me. I'd love to have you. The other thing that, Liz, that you can do is certainly ask those clients, your past clients. Go back to those past clients and ask them the same specific questions. Okay. We forget about our past clients. They are a great, great resource. Any other questions? I hope that's given you some food for thought, Liz. And yeah, so come up with a list of questions that you're going to go out there and ask. Okay, I want to share with you another way. I'm still watching the comments. I want to share with you another way that you can micro niche. And again, I think Liz, you'll appreciate this. Is tapping into your why. Why are you doing this? What has motivated you? What has, why are you doing what you're doing? Why do you get up every morning and you would do it even though you were never paid? Why is this your crusade? Why is this, why do you care? Right? So, why? And I was working with my coach the other day, and she made me really dive deep into my why. And I thought I knew what my why was. And yet, in talking to her, come to find out this woman is also a psychologist. She brought up something that I had never, ever thought of before about my why. And it helped me really create something that I think is something that adds an emotional component to our niching down and to our marketing. So I'll share that with you this morning so that maybe something will come up for you. So I've always contended that the reason why I do what I do is because when I had my retail store, I saw so many women out there starting businesses and failing. And I went, there's no need for that. There's so much information. Why is it that they are failing? And I thought this was my motivation. Now, a lot of people have done this, but here's what my coach did. She really worked on me to drill down. And she said, she thought there was something more in my past. So I'll ask you this. There's something more in my past that motivates or inspires me to keep going. And when I thought about this, immediately, this man popped up into my head. That is actually my dad. My dad was a smart man, had an engineering degree, had a great job, but he had a dream of starting a business. So he started on the side. He had a great work ethic. He worked hard at it. But time after time after time, I saw my dad fail. I saw those businesses fail. And it wasn't until I was further down the road, until I was older, until I was actually in my retail business, that another man walked into my life by the name of Michael. And Michael owned a very, very successful women's clothing store for a particular age group that was just down the road from me. And Michael graciously spent hours of his time mentoring me, so that because I was struggling in my business. And just like my dad, I didn't have all the puzzle pieces together. But Michael was somebody who had the experience, he had the wisdom, he had the knowledge, shared with me tips, tricks, strategies, resources so that I could make my business successful. Light bulb moment. What I understood was that my dad, he was missing to bring all these pieces together was a mentor. If he had had a mentor, he could have brought these pieces together. He could have realized his dream, and his hard work would have paid off. That's why I do what I do. What is your why? Liz, I know your why, I think. So anybody else who is here, and I know there's some people watching, say hello, share your name. I don't know who is here this morning, but when you share your why, did you feel a connection with that why? How many of you felt a connection? Could you identify somewhat with that why? I'd love to hear from you in the comments. Don't be shy, be brave, be brave. But when we share our why, when we share little bits of us, when we share our vulnerability, that emotional part brings together the things that people want to hear. It brings that emotion because we know that people purchase for emotional reasons, not necessarily for logical reasons. Okay. We're getting down to the wire here. I just want to share some examples of clients who have actually what I call, micro niched. And you'll notice that I've put up this banner that I have some VIP grow days coming up, availability. These are private days where you and I can work together. We can, simplify your business, take it to the next level so that you can grow. So we can clarify your next best steps to earning more and working less. So we can build what I call your grow plan. We can build your grow plan. Good, Michelle. Good, Michelle. I'd love to turn that into a whole story. So we want to build your grow plan. We want to outline how this plan is going to get implemented, and you'll walk away with some really, truly, some more confidence so that you can, as my client said, absent proof your business so that you can live your rich life sooner than retirement. So let me share with you a couple of clients. The first client is Cynthia. So Cynthia is a lawyer. And when I first met her, she was a generalist. And I talk about Cynthia a lot. Cynthia is not really her real name. But that's okay. Cynthia is a lawyer in a small city here in Ontario and came to me. You can't get the link to work. No, I'm sorry. Hold on. Let's try this again. Maybe I'll email it to you. Nope. Hold on a minute here. So what I'm going to do, Liz, is copy and paste this link and send it off. Hopefully that will work for you. Okay. All right. All right. So Cynthia is a lawyer in a small town here, a small city here in Ontario. And when she came to me, she had this project that she wanted to do. And I said, well, wait a minute. Before we head off down this, bright, shiny object path, let's take a look and see how profitable you are. Come to find out, Cynthia was not profitable. She was not profitable. And she had this dream. There you go, Liz. Good. Okay, I'll bring you on in just a sec. I'm going to tell Cynthia's story. She had this dream of being this amazing lawyer that people would come to. But as a generalist, she was getting those people that are, phoning her up. Well, how much is a will and whatever? They're nitpicking, and she was seen as a commodity. What we needed to do was position her brand and her business so that she was seen as a go-to expert. And hold on. Grow, recognize as the go-to expert. That is the R. So come to find out, Cynthia's passion and her side business was real estate investing. And I said, perfect. So we positioned her business as the go-to lawyer for real estate investors. And again, when we think of that dot, that's how we positioned her. Would she take other business? Of course. Now she is more profitable than she ever thought she could be. So yes, it's taken some time, but the other thing is she's got stuff off her plate. She has a team she's put into systems, and she's now running her business from Colombia. There you go. Okay, Liz, I'm going to bring you, oops, add to stream. There we are. Can you hear me?
Can you hear me?
There we go. Perfect. Okay. Woohoo! Got it. But it worked in the email, obviously. Was that it?
Well, I tried to use it on my computer and it wouldn't work, so I used it on my phone.
Oh, that's funny. Okay. So how can I help you? What is your big question?
Well, I guess it's well, the research was one for sure.
Yep.
Because that was one thing. I thought that there was.
Sorry, I can't hear you again.
Oh, okay, so hang on.
No, that's better.
Is that better?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. So other than actually going to talk to women, I thought that I could go somewhere to find that information, but definitely talking to women makes most sense.
Yeah.
I guess the question is because I really have a challenge asking some of them the right questions that they get, because I'm in the too much of my terminology.
Okay. Right. So you're not using simple language. You're
right. I'm trying to get out of the
expert head.
Right.
Yeah. And so that's really, really important. And so when I work with clients, that's certainly one of the big things that we do, because the language has to be, like a 7-year-old. Mm-hmm. So let me give you an example. So as I've been creating lately this GROW, what GROW stands for, I went to I went to Google and asked for great words that began with O. And I came up with, optimize your team. And I went, it's not what they're saying.
No.
They're saying, get stuff off my plate, right? And so I had it and I was working at it and I went, no, what do they say? And that's where we have to become really good listeners, but we also have to ask the right questions.
Right. Okay. So just keep listening to the people that are complaining that they can't get done with what I help them with.
Yeah. And write it down or record it so that you can go back over and over again.
Okay. Yeah, I actually just purchased Otter so that I could do that.
Okay,
Okay.
good.
Okay. Good point to know.
All right. Anything else?
No, I think that's been my biggest struggle is just getting out of the terminology and
It's
um
yeah,
yeah,
yeah.
yeah.
It's hard to do, and it's really hard to step away. And I find this, Liz, you're not the only one like that. You
No,
listen,
no.
right? You listen to, and I'll pick on health coaches, right? And they'll talk about being a Reiki master or whatever. I don't even know what the frig Reiki does,
Yeah.
right? So you think of that in your head as you're going forward. How can you really simplify? I'll use the word simplify. And I could say dumb it down, but
I like the word simplify.
okay, there you go. There you go.
Yeah.
Good. Okay, so you've got this niche, and it's women who are leaving a career to start their dream business.
Yeah.
In what field are you really looking like? Because
Well,
that's
they're usually service-based businesses, not so much product-based.
yeah.
And so there's not one specific industry. But there's yeah, I can't say that there's one specific business, but just that they do things rather than make things.
Okay. So if you looked back at the people that you helped so far, would many of them have come from one industry?
Government.
No, but what is okay? What is the industry they want to create? The business they want to create?
I guess in a broader aspect, I guess they're more either consultants or coaches,
Okay.
really.
Yeah. Okay. Let's keep going. Is
Okay.
what kind of coaches?
Um, Actually business coaches because they're not life coaches. They're pretty much business coaches in some form there, whether
Okay.
it be because I've worked with speaking coaches, I've worked with um, consultants, um, virtual assistants, that sort of thing. Um, Trying to think of some of the others that I did
Did
because
you
I've had
not?
them.
Did you not help people become like financial in the
Yeah,
financial?
well, I've helped some single moms open up their own bookkeeping practice. Yeah,
And
so
why not focus on that?
that's a good question.
Because I mean, that's your background.
Right. Yeah.
You did. That's where you've had success. If you
True.
have success stories,
True. Good point. Good point.
that's why they pay me the big bucks. Anyway, it's just food for thought.
Okay.
Maybe instead of just bookkeeping, maybe it's they want to start some sort of coaching or consulting in the financial world. In other words, maybe it's budgeting, maybe it's I don't know.
Mm-hmm. I'll give that some thought. Definitely. Actually, it's funny because I actually started writing a book, best bookkeeping practices for better bookkeepers. But yeah, I think you're onto something there for sure.
All right, good, good.
All right.
Thanks so much for coming on live, Liz. Really appreciate it.
Well, thanks for having me, and
Yeah,
love the lives. Great points.
good. All right, talk to you
Okay.
soon.
Okay.
Bye. All right, all right. Anybody else have some questions? I know there's some of you here. Was it beneficial to have Liz live? I hope it was. She's great. Liz and I have known each other for a long, long time, and Yeah. Okay, so I've gone a little longer than I thought I was going to, but I'm going to go and I'm going to share with you another story of a client who has really micro niched down, so we talked about Cynthia, the lawyer. Let me talk about, many of you know Carl Richards. Carl was a speaker coach and very broad. And for many years, this was a side hustle for him. Um, and it never really gained a lot of traction, right? He had to work really, really hard to gain that traction. But then the pandemic hit, and he was given what we would call in corporate the golden handshake. Okay. Which allowed him the time and the freedom and the security of having that, financial background. And he had that there. So he came to me and we started thinking about how could he really take his talents and his expertise. So Carl was a broadcaster for many, many years. He emceed my live events. He has an amazing voice. So Carl started and he said, one of the things that I've always wanted to do is teach people how to launch a podcast. And I went, that's so perfect. So we worked together to create his expertise, his intellectual property. And Carl launched his, I think it was launch your podcast in 30 days. I think now it might be in 60 days. But he has also done, and he's even niched even more. What he really likes to do is help people do the actual work. So he does a done for you component. So yes, up front, it's launch your podcast, but the upsell, if you will, is that done for you component. So again, Carl has really super niched himself and taken his business global. Amazing, right? Another client of mine who was in the HR field or talent acquisition field came to me. They had a very successful business, but when we started working together, they didn't know who their ideal client was. And they were talking, when they would go to these big conferences, they would often get sort of turned away at booths because they sounded just like everyone else. They were not recognized as that go-to expert. So we've worked together on and off, strategized, whatever. And lately, I would say in the last several months, they have really niched down. So they are looking for senior hiring managers of software companies who are looking for talent in 3 very specific technical areas. Do you know how much easier that made their marketing? Do you know how much easier it made their life? Everything was simplified. And when you simplify, that's when you get to grow. Okay, thank you so much. I'm going to pull this to an end, bring this to an end. Thank you so much for joining me for coffee. We're going to do this, or it's my intention to do this, maybe twice a month kind of thing. And it will always be based on what I am currently writing about in my blog. And those of you who are here live, thank you so much for joining me. How was it? Did you get some value from your half an hour that you spent with me? Give me a high five if you got some value. I really appreciate the time that we've spent together, and look forward to doing this again. If you would like to book your VIP Grow Day, then just reach out to me on my website, hit that, schedule a call. We'll have a little chat to see if you are in the right place. Michelle, thank you so much. Really appreciate it. Okay, take care, everyone. Have an amazing day. Remember, 11 o'clock. Let's not sorry, where are we here? 11 o'clock. Let's remember. Take care. Bye for now.